When Senator Cruz opened this hearing and was using some of the abortion debate examples, I think we all know it isn't the case that there's sort of an equal number of accidental anecdotes that are on the abortion rights side of the debate and on the pro-life side of the debate. Inside your companies are not at all representative of America. It isn't your job to be elected officials that represent all of America, but it just isn't the case that you're sort of a neutral forum for speech, and as you work those things out, pro-life people are going to be heard equally inside your companies. And so those messy things require us to have big, important conversations and debates about them. And to Senator Hawley's point, there are times when it sounds just unbelievably opaque. The language of transparency is used, and yet it's almost impossible to get straight answers many times from the companies. Senator Blackburn is no longer here, and I was off voting, so maybe she asked you some of these questions. But my guess is, and when I called a bunch of people on your boards when her campaign video was taken down because it had some pro-life components in it, my guess is she didn't get any real clear explanation of how and why that happened. I respect your apology. I assume she accepted it, but it didn't happen accidentally. It happened because there are all sorts of assumptions built into your companies that are not at all clear to people who don't know what they're signing up for when they sign up for the platforms. So I guess the question I would ask is, I don't think the American people have a lot of confidence that the messy problems of principled pluralism are somehow going to be easily solved by an algorithm. I don't think it's true. Quantification is a huge part of why we're living at this economic boom moment in human history. We're all unbelievably blessed because of the powers of big data and big quantification, and your companies obviously depend on that. But quality is ultimately more important than quantity, and there is no way that quantity is ultimately going to solve these qualitative debates about pluralism. So when you all talk about community standards and then the language of hate speech comes up, I think I would ask Senator Blackburn, or the way Senator Cruz asked it with the Mother Teresa quote, is, do you believe that a pro-life position is tantamount to hate speech? I know you're both going to say no now, but do you really, tell us what the debate looks like inside your company about hate speech and about extreme viewpoints. Can you define hate speech?
Senator, thank you. I'll take a stab at it, both giving you the definition from a Facebook position, but we're also recognizing that there is no uniform definition of hate speech across the globe. So at Facebook, the way we define hate speech is an attack against a person or a group of people based on their protected characteristic like race, gender, religion, nationality, ethnicity, sexual orientation, as well as serious disability. We define attack to mean something like using words that are dehumanizing, calls for violence, contempt or disgust, exclusion or segregation. But I think your point is the accurate one, is how do you draw those lines to allow a free flow of ideas, to allow debate, but also for us to keep the community safe. So we, on my team and the teams that I work with, we really fight through that struggle of balancing voice versus safety. So we want to give voice to more people. We err on the side of giving voice. There is a lot of content that I find perhaps offensive, maybe some of you also would find offensive as well, that we allow on the platform because it doesn't violate our policies. But when we draw the line and we say that this type of speech is going to lead to violence, it is dehumanizing, we do remove it under our policies. And
so I don't mean to be rude. I don't want to interrupt you if we had a lot more time here, but I just want to ask a precise point on that because I'm well over my time right now. A lot of the context of this debate is around the pro-life movement. And when you bring up violence, there's violence in an abortion. It's in the abortion. Can you explain to me how the pro-life position is in any way violent and how any community standards could ever say a pro-life person's speech should be shut down because somehow there's I don't follow from this how I could understand how you could say that a whole bunch of positions that are advocating the most extreme abortion laws that exist on earth, the US, China, North Korea, and Vietnam, are the only nations that allow abortion until moments before delivery. Out of 200 countries, there are 4 on earth that do that. We're one of those 4. There's clearly violence associated with that conversation. It's on the abortion advocate side of the debate. How is the pro-life side ever guilty of something that equates to violence? Like, how could a pro-life position ever be shut down because of safety?
That's a great question, Senator. And to be clear, a lot of this depends on intent and the context that statements or images or videos are shared in, so it's hard to do the hypothetical. But a general pro-life position would not be violating our community standards for hate speech. The Mother Teresa quote would not violate ours. And to be just for complete transparency, we consult a range of groups across the spectrum, across all political ideologies, to try to help inform our policies. Now, we own the policies, like we write them, they're ours, we own them, but we do talk to a lot of groups to make sure that we are landing, not being too aggressive on any area, and making sure that we try to strike that right balance between voice and safety.
Thanks for being here.